A quick overview of the positive canvas. This should be a simple way to work through your business idea in a one-page format to think through some of the pros and cons of this idea and then create a simplified speed pitch or elevator pitch in less than 2 minutes. So the first area is problem. This is where you think about the problem that you're trying to solve. Really think through the pain and who's producing the pain. So for example, I'll use a business that I'm helping right now. US soccer coaches are weak. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of mean, but from a European perspective, when someone with a master's degree in soccer came to the US and talked to coaches all over the country, found that they're generally weak. What's the real problem though? If coaches are weak, so what? Well, that means that 5,000 scholarships are missed. Now you notice I'm carefully picking words that'll fit here. You're not going to write paragraphs. If you can keep each line to 3 words, that's perfect, but you only need 2 or 3 lines. So coaches are weak, there's a bunch of scholarships that are missed, and really youth soccer is struggling in the US, right? So here's a couple of ideas you could jot down. You can just do this on paper, right? We print something out. So the next one then is opportunity. Well, how big is this? So if you said, I have a problem and I don't really like the way my brother chooses food, so what? That bothers you. That's not a big, meaningful opportunity. So what is the size of this problem if you were to fix it? What would that represent as a business opportunity? Well, with 40 million youth soccer players, that's a huge problem, right? You can see the scope is enormous. Obviously, not all those kids are going to go for scholarships, but there's a big opportunity. Well, we've got the same opportunity if we can help place 5,000 NCAA players. That could be pretty big, right? The colleges need them. The kids could play for free. So there's a big opportunity there to help a lot of youth and help a lot of collegiate teams. So it's just an example. The next one then, I like to work in a little bit of a Z pattern on this. So the next one is solution. So we drop down, what is our solution? We're going to pair EU coaches to youth. Okay, so we're going to get the best youth coaches all across Europe, whether it's for Sporting in Portugal or Benfica or Paris Saint-Germain or Chelsea. These youth coaches, so we can say U17 to U19 coaches, have time. They're willing to help. They're not paid very much. There's this solution that we can get these great coaches that have time and need some money and pair them up with the youth. So our solution then is a 3-level video platform. So there I'm just talking about the solution, right? So in general, we're going to use video, we're going to get coaches and youth together. But what's innovative? What's really different about this? That takes some time to do a little bit of research and find what the competitors are doing. So this is where we talk about maybe one thing, maybe 2. But the one thing for this is that most trainers are one trainer training thousands of kids, and they watch the YouTube videos or they pay $12 and they get all these, but it's not personal. It's not a one-on-one with multiple coaches. It doesn't scale well. So the 3 level is what's really intriguing here, where we can have do all 3 levels, meaning, so this is where you provide some context. You kind of teased it before, and you say we're going to do mass free videos, then we're going to do limited custom videos. So this is where the coaches would build videos for a group of kids, say 100 goalies or keepers or 100 strikers, right? So they can do certain custom videos for certain pools of kids. And then there is private, personal feedback. So that's where a coach will actually watch a video of a kid playing and then give them pieces of feedback directly on the videos that they saw. Okay, so that's what's innovative. No one's doing that. Now someone's doing this and someone's doing this and someone's doing this, but no one's doing all three in a way that they can progress. Okay? So what's our take? What is our message? What are we going to say to people when we say take market share? This is a big one because the way you get out to the market is really important. You don't just show up, you don't just go to a market and say, please buy my bread. You have to actually fight for market share. There are people in the markets already doing something, so you have to do it better. How are you going to differentiate? So what is your message? So the message here can be best youth coaches in the world. Again, you'll notice I'm trying to keep it really tight word-wise. Don't have a lot of space, especially if you're writing with pencil. So our message is we have the best youth coaches in the world. That can do what? Maybe we say drive to scholarship. So our goal is to help more kids get scholarships. That may mean going to a competitive team from a rec team or moving from competitive up to collegiate. So that's just a simplified version of your message. What are you going to say? Then the market or the method is how you get it out there. We're going to actually use clubs that we already have relationships with. We're going to use Facebook, and we're going to use LinkedIn. Okay? And as I'm working through it, I might say, oh, if we use LinkedIn, maybe what we could do, because that's more for adults and professionals, we could actually train the coaches. Oh, cool, let's add that back here on the solution. Coach the coaches, right? So as you're working through this, it's meant to be a living document. You don't finish one piece and never come back to it. You're always bouncing from solution to, oh, how much money could we make? Well, how are we really going to achieve victory? What's going to separate us? How much money do we need? And then how are we going to use that money? Okay, so you can bounce around while you're doing this. So then the next one is share. How are we going to take market share? Well, what sections of the market are we going to get share in? So our primary target audience are going to be comp soccer players. Our secondary audience, and you could put in here how many there are. There are 35,000 of them in America. So maybe put a dash here. Okay. Then we can say secondary. Well, secondary is we want to help regular rec players. And there are 2 million of those, we'll say. Okay. And then our third target that would be cool, we want to get them, but we can live without them. These are coaches, right? So we could say coaches, and you could have the same tiers, but we'll just say coaches in general, and we'll say our target there is 10,000 coaches. So that's when you're talking to people and giving your pitch. If you have some basic information about them, that's all you really need to put here. Then on the next one is income. Well, so on the first level, so you can even put 1, YouTube ads. So those are free, but we get paid through the ads, right? And you could say, we think that once we're 3 years in, and you can even put up here, this is our forecast 3 years out, right? And say, by the third year, we're going to make 500,000 in ads from YouTube because we've got 1 million kids watching our videos. The second revenue stream, that's going to be the limited custom videos. Well, we can take a lot of kids because if we're making custom videos for keepers and we only have 1,000 keepers, maybe we only need to charge those people, let's call it $100 a year. So let's say that we're going to do here group videos. That's that second level. And they're going to be $100 a year. And so we think by the third year that we're going to have 10,000 people. Okay? So that's $1 million. And then the third group, or the third target audience, basically, from the video perspective, is that private, those really private videos. And those videos, you can even cut videos out, right? That's redundant, but you could say the private videos are going to cost $1,000 a year. And we think we'll have maybe 100 of those people. So that's $100,000. See how you can go through that? And then, we do have a secondary audience or a tertiary audience, and that's the coaches. So we can put here coaches. And for the coaches, we're thinking we're going to charge them, because they do this for their job and they probably need this level of coaching. So we're going to charge them $3,000 a year. and we'll probably get maybe the same 100 coaches. Okay, so that's $300,000. So it's just a quick overview. Again, you just kind of are thinking through how will we make money, but you have to consider who's going to pay you. Is it the ads on YouTube? Is it the kids that are in large groups that are going to pay you 100 a year? And then are these the comp kids that are really good, that are on the path to either the MLS or a college? Great, you're going to charge them a little bit more. So it's important to know who's paying you and what they're paying you for, and to list that here. So then the next one is victory. How are we going to win? Well, the first one is we have the number one MLS player. His name is Rossi, who's going to give us videos. We have the number one U19 player in Europe, whose name is Da Silva. There you go. And he's going to give us videos. Okay? So we have some players that are going to give us videos. Then we have 3 comp clubs to beta test. And then we have a partner called Jungo, who has a player feedback app. Okay, so these are just some ideas on how we're going to differentiate, how we're going to say that we're different, and how are we going to win, how are we really going to get there. Okay, so then the last one is economics. So this is, you can provide some detail, or you can say, in order to get this business started, we really only need $1 million, and for that $1 million, we're going to give up 10% in our company. Okay? Well, $1 million, really? What are you going to use that for? Well, we need $250K in marketing, we need $150K in tech platform, we need $100K to secure coaches, and then whatever, right? And you just keep adding until you get to that total of 1 million. They want to know exactly what you're going to use it all for. And if you need to provide some information in here, willing to borrow, or we want to use a safe note, you can look these up or learn more about these. There's different instruments and ways you're willing to take that money. Maybe you say minimum investment, because you may have 10 investors. Minimum investment is 100K. You don't want 10 people with $5,000, which is annoying. And then your break even. So if you get $1 million, when do you have that $1 million back in your bank account? Doesn't mean you've taken any home. It just means that you're break even. So we would say our break even is, let's say 28 months. And then your ROI after 24 months, or let's just, to use this example a little bit better, let's say our break even is in 18 months. And our ROI after 24 months in, meaning what have we returned to the investors, we're going to have 150% return on investment. And the CFO on your team can kind of work with the staff to figure out how best to come up with that and to determine that. So this is a quick overview of the Positive Canvas with an example on how to fill this out. Super easy. And once you've done 2 or 3 of them, practice them on really stupid ideas. But once you've done a couple, you get pretty comfortable with it, you roll through it pretty quickly, and literally the stuff that I just populated here was on a project that I'm sort of working on, but I only started 3 days ago, right? So these are just kind of ideas that are popping out of my head. So I hope you have fun with it, and I look forward to meeting most of you soon. Thanks.